I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I saw this coming from a mile. I knew this was going to happen. And look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not even that shocked. I was convinced that this was going to happen. That's so frustrating. The frustrating part is exactly this. I saw this coming and I anticipated this on Monday. What did I say? He was never going to be out for a month. He was never going to miss only 1 month of football. It's frustrating because, as always, I can't believe how... do I really need to explain how unlucky this football club is? I think it's inner history. I think it's in our DNA. Like, if we're not unlucky, then if we're not being attacked constantly and reminded that something that we did in the past made the gods up there mad, then I don't know what is. Look, Paulo Dybala out for the season. Paulo Dybala out. He decided to follow the surgery path, which I have to be honest with you, I think is a good idea, and we'll get into that in a second. But of course, it's a very big miss. We're losing our best player for the upcoming calendar, for the upcoming fixtures, for the upcoming final rush. We're losing not only our best player, but we're losing a player which more and more often in recent times, especially under Ranieri, became more than just a player. He was a leader under all effects, helping the younger, helping the likes of Sule and Baldanzi, communicating. And even if he isn't our captain, he was slowly turning into a very prominent figure in terms of leadership in Roma's team. And we really don't deserve this. He really doesn't deserve this. Look, what can we do? What can we do? We can wait. We can wait, be patient that he comes back fit and fresh for next season. That's what we can do and that's what we can hope for. But Paulo Dybala and the 2024-2025 season is done. We will not see him again on the pitch this season. And that's just the way it is. It is what it is. As I said at the start, I knew this was coming. I could sense that. You know when you just feel things in the air? Well, I knew that this news was going to happen. I was on the bus back from the university home tonight. This morning, I got the news on Instagram and I was like, there you go. I knew it. I knew it. I was just waiting for this news to be published by himself and by some very reliable sources like Fabrizio Romano and Sky Sports. And then he published his message. And then I was like, there you have it. There you have it. We got fucked yet another time. Where do we start? I want to speak about a few things. I want to speak about how our season changes. I want to speak about his injury and why and the positives of looking at the surgery side, because let's face it, the negative is that he'll miss the end of the season, but other than that, him choosing for surgery is a good option under all effects, and that's something that we'll discuss. Look, how are we feeling? Italy, Germany tonight. I'm looking forward to it, even though I'm not a big fan of the Nations League, but it'll be nice to see, no Roma players on the pitch tonight, but I'm actually happy that no Roma players got called up, because even more than ever now that Dybala got injured, we need to reduce the injuries, especially those players which will need to replace Dybala. I'm looking at Sule, Baldanzi and Pellegrini, those three, and Salamakers, who did get a call up with Belgium. Those 4 players must not get injured. Because we'll speak about it. But look, hit the like, subscribe, and hello to everybody. I'm going to get to comments in a second. I just wanted to start off, in case people missed it, reading the little message that Dybala posted. I just need to quickly find it. There we have it. Let me quickly, oopsie daisy, there we go, sorry. Let me translate this real quick. Right, so I'm pretty much sure that everybody read it, but in case you missed it, this is Dybala himself who posted a post saying, "Dear friends, first of all, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the affection you always show me. After the medical results of the tests and having evaluated the various options, I have decided to undergo this surgery now to return as soon as possible. Even if I will be temporarily away from the pitch, I will continue to support my Roma teammates in this crucial phase of the league and my national team that I will follow as one more fan during these qualifying matches. I will be back soon, even stronger, I promise. See you on the pitch. Forza Roma and Vamos Argentina." And there was a very nice picture today of Dybala following the training session alongside Ranieri, which I think it's the important thing now with this news coming in is the importance of the group, is the importance even more than ever this season, uniting. We have lost our best player for the remaining months until the end of the season. We'll have him back at the start of next season, but we need to conclude this season giving it our best, trying to achieve the best of results without our best player, without one of our main leaders. So in order to achieve this, in order to minimize the effect that losing his quality would bring, we need to compact, we need to fight all together, and we need to kind of make his absentee as least effective as possible. And I think the power of group is the most important thing. But look, comments on the injury is that he was never going to be back in a month. That's the truth. I'm not a doctor. I'm not interested in medical things. That really is not my interests. Fair play if you do. And if you are a doctor, and you're probably a doctor watching this who's an expert on these things, you yourself knew that Dybala was never going to be back in a month. And the fact that they told you a month was just, number one, to kind of calm the fans, to kind of say his season is not over, but he'll be out for a month, to initially calm us. But number two, I think it was the first analysis. You know, when somebody gets injured, you don't have just one medical checkup. And probably what happened is that he had one checkup, and that doctor said 1 month, so everybody started saying a month. But when you get injured, especially if it's a delicate injury which hasn't affected the player much in recent times, then you have more than one checkup. And what probably happened is that, having had 3 or 4 checkups, he got probably told that he was gonna miss the season. Either way, surgery or no surgery, that his season was ended. So then, having been aware with these updates, then he was like, right, I mean, if surgery or no surgery doesn't change the equilibrium, if I am still gonna be out for the remainder of the season, then I might as well go for the surgery, because and I appreciate this. Number one, I appreciate it. Number two, I fully agree with him, and number three, I think it's the best option, because at least, yes, he'll be out for the rest of the season, but at least with the surgery option, he knows that this problem will be sorted, and then he'll have his recovery, and once he's back, he won't have any problems linked to this. If he hadn't gone with the surgery path, there was the very high probability that he would have probably rushed his times. He would have probably gotten back earlier than what doctors would have said. And the first game that he played back from his injury, then he would have gotten injured again, and he kind of would have made the problem even worse. So I think it's good that he chose the surgery path. It means that he'll be fit and ready to go next season. Dybala will stay. And something that Sky Sports said very interesting is that, which again proves to you that the Dybala situation and the Dybala role has changed in the eyes of the Fredkins, is that the Fredkins actually supported him a lot. More than ever. Sky Sports said that he actually felt quite surprised by the amount of support that the Fredkins themselves showed to him, in a sense that the Fredkins and Dybala had a long chat together, and they both decided to opt for the surgery. path. And they gave some specialists that could treat him. And apparently he either needs to choose Finland, Switzerland, or the USA to get treated. So, yeah, I think this shows that Dybala won't get sold this summer. His contract got extended automatically. He's going to stay, and it's important. Yes, it was important to have him in this final rush. But it's more important that this problem, which is a delicate issue, because as I said before, it's a tendon behind his knee. It's a very delicate point. So the important thing is that he makes sure that this problem gets cleared out and sorted 100% without the risk of having more follow-up injuries on this problem if he didn't opt for the surgery path. So yes, we're gutted, but at the end of the day, I'd rather Dybala is out for 3 months, but his problem gets cleared, than Dybala is out for a month, rushes himself back on the pitch, and then gets injured again, and maybe it can worsen everything around that area. So I'm glad he went for this. I know it's a shock. I know that most of us wasn't expecting it. I was expecting this. I know that it's gutting, and I know that this past week has been terrible. I mean, the last 7 days for a Roma fan have been absolutely brutal. But look, how our season changes it's inevitable that our season is going to change now, because we've seen it many times. There's a Roma with Paulo Dybala and there's a Roma without Paulo Dybala. So let's not hide. Let's not necessarily clear away the realist negative thoughts just to pave way for the positive ones. Positivity is key, and I think positivity for the group of players now that the Dybala is out is the number one thing. Positivity, focus, and unity are the 3 ingredients to recover mentally from your best player getting injured. But speaking on a real point of view, it's going to impact our season. Now, I don't think we were going to get in the Champions League even if Dybala was fit. And I said this myself last week. I think the chances of qualifying for the Champions League with or without Dybala are very slim. But it's now you need the power of the team. Now you need the power of the team to overcome the power of an individual, of the player who drags you and changes you the games. So, yes, our season is going to change. Yes, we will struggle more, especially in that span of big games. You know, I'm looking at the span of games which sees us play against Lazio, Inter, Atalanta. Those games are going to be more complicated without a world-class player such as Dybala. Let's not hide this fact. But I think 2 things need to happen in order for the Dybala injury to also act less to be less stressful and to be less impactful. The number one thing that needs to happen is that the withdrawal symptoms from Dybala are going to be reduced if the replacements step up. And that's something logical. That's something very logical that all of us agree on. Our final sprint in this season and our withdrawal symptoms from Dybala are going to be less seen and less impactful and less noticeable if the players step up, if his replacements step up. And there are 4 players, maybe even 5 players that I look at which need to take this team and change our season. These 5 players are Sule Baldanzi, Salamakers, Pellegrini, and El Shaarawy. And I will surprise you here. Sule is the guy which you associate to Dybala the most because of the post-Dybala, pre-Dybala comparison, because of the fact that they are both very technical, because of the fact that, you know, they're both Argentinian, whatever you want to put it. but the player, and I might be proved very wrong when I say this, but I am going to say this. The player which I expect the most from, the player who, in my opinion, needs to genuinely pick this team up and get this team back going like he used to do, is Lorenzo Pellegrini. Now, that again, I just want Pellegrini to not focus on the captain parallelism. Give Mancini the armband. I don't associate captain Pellegrini armband weak captain. No, that's a burned story. That's a story which has been written and concluded. On a football point of view, I don't care on a leadership point of view, on a technical point of view. Pellegrini is the player that out of these 5, I expect the most from. Not because it's his last call, because regardless of whether he is going to score hat-tricks over hat-tricks, I still think Pellegrini will leave at the end of the season. But even on a paradox point of view, I don't know how you say this. Get Pellegrini's Roma back in his hands. On a football point of view, I couldn't give a shit if he wears that armband or not. It should not be your focus right now. It should not be his focus right now. If he feels like that armband distracts him, keep it away from him. I'm speaking on a football pitch, on a football level, on a scoring goals, on a providing assists, on a creating chances. I know Pellegrini can do this. I know, I've seen, my eyes have seen Pellegrini do this. I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it 2 years ago. I've seen you do it 3 years ago. I've seen you do it. You need to pick this team and drive it through this last storm at the end of the season. And then if you stay, you stay. If you leave, you leave. And I'm speaking on a human level to him more than a football player captain. I don't care if you're the captain or not. I speak to you on a tactical and technical level because I know that you have got the technique. I know that your problem is this. I know, we know. We know that your problem is in here. It's not on your feet. You're a good player. You're a technical player. We've seen you do some great things. The problem with you is that you're blocked in here this season. Let this go. Let this go and break free and carry this team where it deserves to be. And the other is, yeah, of course, and the other thing which I would say is, I think there needs to be a formation switch. Without Dybala, I think there needs to be a formation switch. Number one, because without Dybala, of course, having less creativity in the middle, you have to try and use the flanks more. So I look at Saelemaekers and I look at Soulé. For example, Soulé has played in Dybala's position because we used to play in that system. But now that Dybala's absent, we should put Soulé wider. Like, the formation that I would like to see is a 4-3-3. Maybe not a 4-3-3 because we don't have real wingers. I mean, we do. Saelemaekers, El Shaarawy, Soulé, we do. But then Pellegrini doesn't fit a 4-3-3. And I see a lot in Pellegrini in these last 3 months. So for me, the ideal formation for these next 3 months is kind of a 4-2-3-1. We need to kind of, if before with a 3-5-2, our formation was saturated and concentrated in the middle with that 5-2 block or with that 5-1-2 block. Now it needs to be more dispersed on a wider scheme. It needs to be, first of all, 4 defenders, so 2 wide, and then 2 in the middle who control, and then those 3 behind the striker with 2 real wingers. Because I look at Saelemaekers, Soulé, we need to exploit that because we've seen it and we've tried it already. Without Dybala playing in the middle, yes, Baldanzi can do it, and Pellegrini, but El Shaarawy, Saelemaekers and Soulé all prefer playing wide, starting wide at least, Not necessarily sticking themselves wide, but at least starting wide and bringing themselves in. So I do think there needs to be a formation switch now that Dybala got injured. With that being said, look, I think I've got nothing else to say. I'm going to read a few comments and then I'll end it. And every time at the end something ruins our opportunity. Oh mate, it's always that. It's always that. Absolutely, it's not a surprise. We need the best from Pellegrini. It's his last. It's now or never. It's genuinely now or never for him. It's the last call. It's the last call for Pellegrini. We should not lose focus 100%. Do you think Fredkins were involved because they want him to be fit before the summer transfer window in order to sell him? No. Ranieri has said multiple times how now that Ranieri is here, that Dybala is going to stay. So I don't think Dybala is going to leave. I don't think he will. Pellegrini doesn't have match fitness, says Andre. The problem about Pille, I think, about mentality, that he can't bring responsibility about that, and because he'd be a local player, that our expectation is too much. It's the collective unit which needs to improve and replace Dybala's efficiency on the pitch. Obviously, we don't have an individual who can be at the same level. The whole group has to make the difference. I agree. And that's kind of how I would like to end it. Our season is not done. Our season is impacted on the negative side. Our season can change because of this, but our season ain't done. We might have lost a soldier, but we haven't lost the war. Remember this. And I'm convinced that Ranieri is going to focus on a mental preparation on these players that need to replace him. So we've lost a soldier, but we haven't lost the war. We go on from Scotland. We fight together. We move together. And wherever the wind will bring us, it will bring us. Bring it on. Right, hit the like, subscribe, do all of that. 100 likes to wish Paolo a speedy and wishful recovery. And I will catch you tomorrow with yet another live stream. Catch you all soon. See you.